It was time to crown a new king and queen of recurve. After a 3-month break on the World Cup schedule, the 2016 season would finally reconvene and conclude here in Denmark. This year, with just 3 tour stops to qualify for the finals, the cream of the crop quickly rose to the top, securing the 7 spots coveted by so many. Joined by some great Danes, the field was finally set for play at the King's Garden, in the heart of Odense, in the heart of Denmark. This lush green garden spot, best known for producing the legendary Hans Christian Andersen, would now produce World Cup champions, living out their own storybook endings. The day began with the highest-ranked woman in the world taking on Russia's Tuyana Dashidorjeva, who was fighting to survive in the 4th set. But she was at the mercy of Korea's Chae Sun, who needed just 8 points to dispatch Dashidorjeva. Consider it done. Chae Sun moving on to the semifinals in Denmark. The next match, much closer. Tanya Ting tacks on a 10 in her tight battle with the Danish delight Maja Jaeger. Given the chance to force a shoot-off, the Dane is done in by her own hand. A valiant effort from Jaeger is in vain as Chinese Taipei's Tanya Ting advances. Italy's Gwendolina Sartori was on the ropes in the 4th set of her match with Korea's Kibo Bae. Hoping to at least gain a split, that 8 put her fate in the hands of the 2-time Olympic medalist who takes care of business, clinching the set to clinch the match. Kibo Bae on through to the semifinals in Odense. Ksenia Perova was the Russian Federation's final hope for reaching the podium, but with her back against the wall in the 5th set, she could only offer up an 8. That gave Wu Jiajin plenty of room to work with, the youngest woman competing at this event, closing out her opponent. China would be represented in the World Cup semifinals. But the challenge would be even greater the next time around, as Wu Jiajin would be on the line with Chae Sun, the woman who's ranked number 1. After going back and forth through 3 sets, Chae Sun had a 2-point edge. So the silver medalist from Medellin needed to answer. She was hoping for a stronger response. Of course, the same could be said for Chae Sun, the defending champion from Mexico City. Neither could gain the advantage with those first shots. So Ms. Wu knew she still had a chance. This time, she embraced the opportunity, moving a single point ahead after her Korean counterpart dropped her second shot into the 9 ring. All was not lost for Chae Sun. Wu Jiajin could have secured the set with another 10, but drifted into the dreaded red zone. That spelled nothing but danger for Ms. Wu, who was now vulnerable. Without blinking an eye, Chae Sun went for the kill and got what she was hunting for. Down for a moment, she was never out. Her quest for supremacy at the World Cup finals would continue. The other semifinal match was a seesaw battle going back and forth between Tanya Ting and Kibo Bae, each taking turns winning the first 4 sets. The 5th would begin innocently enough with a 9 by the woman from Chinese Taipei. And that was an open invitation for Kibo Bae to take control. Matters only got worse for Ms. Tan as she strays into the 8 ring. But then she had some company. Kibo Bae misfires and mitigates the damage done by Tanya Ting's second shot. For some reason, Tan's third shot was less than inspired, and that would make Kibo Bae's work that much easier. She shoots 9s in her sleep, so doing it wide awake was a piece of cake for the Korean champion. Surviving and advancing, Kibo Bae defeats the woman who finished 5th at the Olympic Games in Rio. There was no time for Tanya Ting to feel sorry for herself. She had to forget and focus on her next match. After missing out on a bronze medal in Brazil, Tan was taking aim on the podium in Denmark. China's Wu Jiajin had done well in Rio as well, posting the 6th best score in qualifying. So she'd proved to be a formidable foe for Ms. Tan, who won the first set and then split the next one with Wu, who had some work to do. In just her 3rd year of international competition, she was holding her own against the best in the world, including Tanya Ting, who won individual medals at all 3 stages on this year's World Cup circuit. Unable to break a third-set stalemate with her second shot, Wu Jiajin could only hope her opponent would cooperate. And Tan Yating complied. Both had seemingly settled down into the 9 ring. Could either break away? The answer came quickly, Wu breaking bad on her next shot, an 8 that left her in jeopardy of dropping another set to Tan Yating. But she could do no better. It was an exercise in futility that left the two separated by just 2 points. Wu Jiajin, fortunate to still only be trailing Tan Yating by a count of 4-2. The 4th set saw things go from bad to worse for Wu, whose first arrow landed even further south. That sent a signal to Tan, who apparently got the message, moving into the driver's seat by nailing a 9. Meanwhile, the 19-year-old Wu Jiajin continued to struggle, the pressure perhaps starting to affect this first-time World Cup finalist. Ms. Tan wasn't necessarily on top of her game either, and she couldn't afford to let down after Wu showed signs of life. But any flickering hopes she may have had were doused by a 9 launched by Tan Yating right here. Tan Yating finally able to close out the match and claim her spot on the podium. After finishing 5th in Rio, the second-ranked woman in the world would finish 3rd in Denmark and assure herself a spot on the podium on this first trip to the World Cup finals. Tan Yating adding a 3rd-place trophy to the silver medal won in Shanghai, the bronze medal won in Medellin, and another bronze medal that she captured on Turkey's Konyaaltı Beach this past summer.
Let's stand by for our next match, which is the championship final, coming up in just a few seconds.
One of the greatest challenges for any champion is to stay on top, to find new challenges, and find the motivation to do what needs to be done to maintain that level of excellence. Kibobe's obviously found ways to motivate herself and remain one of the elite athletes in her sport. Perhaps it's simply the competition within her own national team that keeps driving her. Competition from a teammate like Chae Sun, 8 years younger and hungry to experience the success Kibobe's been able to enjoy. After 2 sets, Miss Ki was enjoying a 3-1 edge in this title bout that saw Chae Sun struggling to find her rhythm. That wasn't a problem for Ms. Ki, who connected with a direct hit. That lit a fire under Miss Chae, who rebounded from that 8 to a 10. A determined Kibobe able to keep her teammate at bay and maintain a 2-point lead. Chae Sun needed to start making her move, but couldn't land the shot she needed to turn up the pressure. This would be easy pickings for Kibobe, who claimed the set to take a commanding lead in the match. The sun shining brightly on the fans in the stands, not to mention the woman who'd won a gold medal in London just 4 years ago. She may not have shown it, but frustration had to be building for Chae Sun after just missing that 10. It meant Ms. Ki didn't have to take chances. 10's always preferable, but in this situation, a 9 is fine. Fine for Kibobe. For Chae Sun, not so much. Especially after Ki did connect and hit the gold mine. With all 3 of her shots landing in the 9 ring, the conclusion seemed clear and inevitable. With the red carpet rolled out, Kibobe took another stroll down victory lane. Another 10 for good measure, putting an exclamation point on her first World Cup title in 4 years. After all the years of training, all the years of traveling, all the years of competing, and all the success that she has had, Kibobe still has the will to win and the willingness to do what it takes to stay on top.
Thank you very much, and we will see you at the award ceremony happening later on this afternoon.
월드컵 파이널에서
I think that winning the gold medal in the World Cup final is as difficult as winning at the Olympic Games. That's because other archers from different countries have some great skills now. I can never lose focus or attention.
My name is Chef van den Berg. What's important in recurve archer's technique for posture is that you're steady and that you have a nice base to stand on. When I go to the line, I set my feet about shoulder width and I have my right foot just in front of my left foot. So I have like a slightly diagonal stance towards the target. I try to put the weight for like more than half on the front of my feet so that I have to keep myself from falling forward. This activates my legs and my core so I don't fall over, and it makes me for like having a steady shot. I think it's important as a recurve archer not to lock your knees, but to have them straight without locking them. So your legs are properly tensioned. If you're like this, you're a bit wobbly, and if you have them all the way locked, your muscles don't do anything. So it's more difficult to be stable. So you want to have them straight but not locked. I would say most of the archers try to have their feet, their hips, and their shoulders aligned. So there's no archers in the pro field that have like disaligned postures. So I would say the major thing in archery is the T line. So this is straight and this is pretty much straight, and there's nothing like really crooked by any of the pros. I think if your posture is correct, your side pin moves in a slow motion, and if your posture is like really tensioned, your side pin will jump to places, and that's, at least for me, what happens when I don't feel like my balance is right. As an advice to give you, I would say try to get some flat shoes, shoes with flat soles, not too thick, so no damping in the soles. This makes you like ground better, so it's easier to stay in balance.
At the King's Garden in Denmark, Chef van den Berg of the Netherlands was part of a very balanced field, competing for the men's recurve title. While Korea would once again have two entries, the young Dutchman and the bronze medalist from Rio would have something to say about the outcome in Odense.
And we will say the best thing about him. He is the 20th.
Johan Weiss of Denmark was the host nation entry in men's recurve. Now living and training in Korea, Johan was grateful for the chance to compete against the reigning Olympic champion. The remarkable Kuban Chan made quick work of this first round match, tuning up for the bigger challenges that lay ahead. Meanwhile, Kim Woo-jin, hoping to redeem himself after a first-round loss at the Olympics, was facing a major challenge from Chef van den Berg. And Kim would once again come up short, dropping the fifth and deciding set to the young Dutchman, who just missed out on a medal at the Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. Zach Garrett of the United States finished up strong, but had already dug himself a hole that was too deep to climb out of. Wei Chun-heng of Chinese Taipei running away with a straight set sweep, adding to his impressive list of wins over the course of this season. This shot by Ernesto Boardman was not representative of a season that saw him become a first-time Olympian and a World Cup finalist. Matched up against one of the best in the business over the past decade, this turned out to be a mismatch. Brady Ellison taking the measure of his Mexican opponent in the quarterfinals.
Mexico's Ernesto Boardman.
Hello, Rio Olympic gold medalist Bonchan-ku, 2 gold medalist. Yeah. 제가 가장 중요하게
The
생각하는
most important
기술 중에
thing,
하나는
I
이제
think, in archery
꿀조준인데요.
is the
이제
aiming from beginning to
팔을
end.
쐈을 때 자기가 이제
Because during
긴장된
competition,
상황에서
when I feel
들어가다
nervous and I'm trying to
이제
make the
자기도
aiming
모르게
point
놓치는
come
부분이
down a
많아요.
little bit
그래서 그
lower,
상황에서
I will keep telling
끝까지
myself that
꿀조준을
I will have to
계속 하고
aim in the
있으면은
same spot
훨씬
from beginning to end.
실수발도 적고
That way I make fewer
좀
mistakes
더
with my arrows
적중력이
and I
많은
get
것
good
같아요.
scores. After tuning the sight during practice, I'm ready for competition. I just make sure I use the same aiming point from start to finish. It's part of the strong technique I use. In windy conditions, it becomes more difficult to maintain the same aiming point, but I try my best to do this and aim at the same spot I would with no wind. The aiming point's around the 10 ring, and that's where I need to be if I want to shoot well.
특별한 건 없는 것 같은데 그냥 I'm lucky guy.
I think the most important thing is having self-confidence. Everyone who's in archery has to have a strong sense of self-confidence and believe in themselves, believe in their equipment, and believe in their technique. If you do that, you'll get a good result. All of that worked for Kubanchan in Rio. But in Denmark, not so much in this semifinal match with Chef Vandenberg. The daring Dutchman had already dispatched Kim Woo-jin, had beaten Lee Sung-yeon in Brazil, and now was on the verge of defeating the pride of Korea. Down 5-1 to start the fourth set, Koo connected with that 10 ring he spoke of. Maybe there was a glimmer of hope for a comeback. And that appeared to be a possibility when Vandenberg opened with an 8. But a 9 from Koo and then a 10 from Chef altered the picture. This set was still up for grabs, and so was the match. Inexplicably, Kubanchan lost his way on his last shot, opening the door for Vandenberg, who walked right through, striking gold to claim another victory over one of Korea's finest. Over the period of 1 month, the chef had cooked up a winning recipe against the 3 best Korean men, an accomplishment unmatched in recent memory. East met West in the other semifinal. America's Brady Ellison facing Wei Chun-heng of Chinese Taipei. After 2 sets, it appeared as though Ellison might breeze to victory. But Mr. Wei found a way to survive in the 3rd set and showed no signs of surrender as he started the 4th.
Good, strong shot.
Brady was back in business on his opening arrow and looked to be in very good shape, especially after Wei's next shot sailed high into the 9 ring.
Good, strong shot.
Ellison would land in just about the same spot with his next shot, and on paper seemed poised to put the match away after Mr. Wei settled for another 9. Brady not taking any prisoners. He went for the kill and got it. A convincing performance for Ellison, rebounding from a 3rd set setback to take the measure of a very talented archer from Chinese Taipei. Many, if not most, expected to see Kubanchan in the championship match, and many hoped it would be a rematch with Brady Ellison after the two went to a shoot-off in Rio. But there was a different script for Denmark, and this one called for Koo to face another worthy foe, Wei Chun-heng from Chinese Taipei, who shot a qualifying score in Rio that was just 2 points short of matching Kubanchan's. We'll pick up this match in the 4th set, the Olympic champion with a 2-point lead. Wei Chun-heng makes a statement with his first shot, apparently having followed Kubanchan's advice about aiming. Koo follows his own advice, and it works. The set's even. But watch what happens on the next shot. Wei drops his eyes away from the target. Just as he releases, he knows his aim is off. And that could spell trouble. Turns out, no harm done, as Koo's second shot sails wide right. Wei should have taken advantage of the reprieve he received. Alas, he did not. And now his fate is in the hands of a man who possesses an Olympic gold medal. Turns out, that doesn't guarantee anything. Shocked and dismayed, Koo cannot believe what he's done. Instead of celebrating, he surrenders the set to Wei Chun Heng. The two are tied and locked in a battle that could go either way in the fifth and final set. Nobody's perfect, not even the Olympic champion. Now it's Ku who gets first crack at the target. And this shot is good for 10 more points. Wei Chun Heng takes his time, takes aim, and is even more accurate. Back to Kuban Chan, who drops his second shot into the 9 ring. He's in hot water, but it turns out Wei Chun Heng would burn himself a 7, sabotaging his chances of winning the bronze. To be sure, Kuban Chan seals the door shut with an arrow that puts the match out of reach. In archery, there's nothing more painful than finishing 4th, but you have to respect Wei Chun Heng for getting to this match and then finishing with a solid shot, knowing all was lost. What a summer it's been for Kuban Chan. He got the ball rolling with a bronze medal in Medellin, snatched a silver on Coney Beach in Antalya, claimed the gold medal in Rio, and took 3rd place at the World Cup final in Denmark. With youth, great attitude, and outgoing personality, and a wonderful sense of humor, the world of archery can't wait to see what lies ahead for the man ranked #1 in recurve. The man, now regarded as Korean kryptonite, would confidently take to the stage for the biggest match of the day. Chef Vandenberg, fresh off his win over Kuban Chan, was getting his own rematch from Rio, where he lost the bronze medal to a fellow by the name of Brady Ellison, who may have preferred another shot at Kuban Chan after their semifinal showdown at the Olympics. But this was how the cards were dealt, and it would turn out to be a thrilling hand. With Mel Nichols in the crowd and his bride by his side, Brady jumped out to a big lead, going up 4-0 after the first 2 sets. But the chef started cooking and came back to take the next 2. It was all even as Ellison opened the 5th set with an eye-opening 8. All Brady could do was just shake his head, shake it off, and get ready for the next shot. The problem for Brady, he'd be down by 2. VDB dropping a bomb in the 10 ring to grab a hold of this match. But Brady's been there, done that many times before. Tough to rattle a man making his 7th straight trip to the World Cup finals. Still, he's playing catch-up, and he can't catch Chef if Chef won't let him. And it doesn't look like Chef will. Vandenberg, just 1 shot away now from being crowned as the World Cup's new king of recurve. Of course, Brady Ellison can't worry about all that. Brady's got a beat on that 10 ring 70 meters away, and he sends the next shot home, keeping hope alive. Chef can put the icing on the cake. He needs but 9 to slam the kitchen door shut and send everybody home, but unexpected things can happen on the way to the winner's circle. No one's sure if Chef's shot was on the line for 9 that would give him the win. It just about took a microscope to figure out if that arrow was grazing the 9 line. Toya couldn't tell, and the drama kept building as archery's answer to Moses Hammurabi and Judge Judy looked at the situation from all angles. The verdict, Chef's shot was off the line by no more than one of the whiskers on Brady's beard. The arrow didn't hit, so they had to acquit and go to a shoot-off. Much to Chef's chagrin. Ellison would shoot first, commonly thought to be an advantage. It wasn't in Rio, and it certainly did not appear to be in Denmark. Surely Chef would accept a victory served up on a silver platter, but little in life is guaranteed, and after all he'd done to fight his way back into the match, this was the shot that got away from Chef Vandenberg. A shot that set off a celebration for the newlyweds, a shot that's sure to stay with Chef over the winter months that lie ahead. Brady Ellison's won this title 3 times before in Edinburgh, Istanbul, and Lausanne, but he's never won in more dramatic fashion.
I did not think the 9 was going to be good enough to win in the shoot-off. Chef had been shooting really good all day. Lots of X's, lots of inside-out 10s. And I was thinking that, he was probably going to beat me when he shot. it looked good. You know, we both shot a little bit left. We were talking about afterwards, weren't really expecting it to be there. And, you know, feel very fortunate and a little bit lucky that was able to win it.
What a way to bring the 2016 World Cup outdoor season to a close. For all of us at World Archery, thanks for watching. We'll see you again next year.